In this video, I absolutely transform my driving, all by getting a shaft fitting from KBS. I'm at Custom Golf Works Sunningdale using the top ranges of equipment to go from this shaft to this. Let's find out how I get on. So, how should we get started?
Okay, well, I think probably, we've warmed up. I think it's probably best to step in with your gamer.
Okay,
get some data on that and
let's do it.
See where we're at. What's the general miss on the golf course?
That's actually a really good question. It kind of changes day to day.
Okay.
I'm trying to make it a right miss now, kind of right spinny, but beforehand it was low and lefts.
Low and left, okay.
The problem is it would still go quite a long way when it was low and left, so it would be going 270 or something like that, but 80 yards left. So I'd be there in no man's land, usually lost ball. I'm now trying to transition with my swing path to make it a little bit more optimal, because I think my swing path is still just about out to in.
And what have you been working on swing-wise?
Too many things, really. I was working on my weight transfer and trying to get a bit more vertical in the backswing, because I know I'm quite flat and kind of turn around myself. Before that, I knew my hips when I was turning back, they were pushing in too much, so I wasn't getting as much rotational turn as I'd like to. Now, that's too difficult for me. So I'm kind of just working on, for me, the most important part of the golf swing, which is from here to down there, and try and make my release as optimal as possible, because then I know if I'm doing the same release time after time with 100 swings, it's going to be a lot more consistent. It's better. Still right.
Like you said, I think for someone who swings it as quick as you do, we looked at your 7-iron around that 100-mile-an-hour mark. Additional distance isn't something you generally need. We just need to get your total driving a little bit better. So hopefully we get the miss hit closer to the good one.
Yes.
And then we get it as narrow as possible from left to right.
Okay.
So, in terms of strategically, we look at, with the tour players we work with, we look at bunkers, can they carry on a miss hit? So again, as I said, it's really important to see that miss hit so that we can kind of plan for that.
Yeah.
So again, that's a big part of it. But as I said, probably for you, what we want to do is just make you hit as many fairways or give you a clear second shot as often as possible.
Yeah.
So distance-wise, like you say, you bomb it. So it's not our number one consideration. I think we just need to get you on the fairway or around it.
Couldn't agree
as
more.
often as possible.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just low. So low on the face, I think. But I mean, straight.
Let's hit one more, and then we'll just have a look at the average of those. That data we've started to track so far.
I think I broke the tee. I didn't break the tee.
Let's have a little look. So, in terms of your gamer, and so these are the averages, bottom line here.
Yeah.
166.8, 10.5 launch, and you can see there's a bit of a range. So, your tee height you're using is, probably got to be close to a couple of inches up in the air.
Yeah.
We're seeing average launch at 10.5, spin rate averaging at 3.8. Is that something you see sometimes a bit spinny? Or?
No, actually.
Okay, so you know what? Sometimes we see that when you're sort of changing your golf swing a little bit. And it tends to tell us that I
haven't had this on a launch monitor for a good 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
This was when I was fitted for it. It was something that was spinnier than my usual mid 2.5s or so, because they said, look, if more spin, more forgiveness type thing,
100%.
which I'm happy with.
100%.
But that looks a little bit too high for me, I think.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, this without doing anything, other than changing the slight hip position, we can get distance up by lowering the spin a little. But again, we've got to look at that as a total number and make sure, even if we get the optimum amount of spin, how many fairways we're hitting. We'll crack into the KBS, I think, first of all.
Let's do it. I'm excited. So first shaft up is the 70 category 5. That's correct. Okay. Oh, that felt good.
That was a solid hit. That was
that one actually felt like I hit the middle of the club face.
Sometimes you find when people go from their gamer, which they hit and they flush.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of getting used to a few swings to kind of find the feel, because obviously they do bend slightly differently.
Yeah.
But as I said, the KBS is definitely a different feel. But I think probably the first swing was more to do with the grip size rather than. Take away from that golf shot though, it's the longest by quite a considerable margin.
By a lot more.
It's going to really knock your spin down.
Yeah, so those numbers are a lot more optimal, aren't they, than what it was before. It's all right. It felt right. I think it was a little bit heely, but I don't think it was that bad.
No. And the head you went for, was there a particular reason for that? Or?
No, I wish I could. So I had the Stealth Plus for a while, I felt like that was a bit less forgiving. I just
Okay.
wanted something that across the face perhaps would still give me like decent enough results.
Yeah,
There's still possible there's nothing wrong with it, but the more I researched, the more I realised that I don't need it.
Once we sort of get to grips with the shaft, I think that would be something to look at.
Yeah. Felt better.
Solid hit again.
Still a bit slidey.
I have to say, so if that one's your miss hit,
That's fine.
We're happy,
Yeah,
aren't we?
that's fine. That's fine.
so at the moment, my suggestion would be maybe we need to just shut the face angle a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I think I'm. Don't know why. I know I do struggle sometimes, but I think especially today I'm struggling to shut the face down in my downswing. I don't think I have that much of a problem with it usually.
Yeah, and all I'd say is sometimes
Maybe
it's
it's
indoors,
inside.
right?
Yeah, exactly,
Just one
but-
of those, if we just start to look at those numbers, we'd already start the really interesting thing. So we're starting to look at ball speed. So again, really similar to start off with. We're seeing ever so slightly lower spin rates to begin with. It's interesting though because the side angle, the start side angle, we're definitely starting to see a little more left with KBS to begin with, and again, it's starting just a smidge further left. So
Right.
It's just something that we want to be mindful of. And
Yeah.
obviously, what we have seen straight away is you've had the quickest ball speed off that, which is really interesting because we've only tried one shaft.
Yeah.
And it's obviously the longest shot as well. So we know the apex, we know where we're heading for. So I think what we'll do, I would like to get you to actually look at the other heads and just see if we can
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
match
do it.
that up. So if I grab that for you, Stealth Plus just offers us a little bit more opportunity in terms of a bit of versatility.
Yeah.
So all I've done, close the face by 1/2 degree
Okay.
and literally just pull the weight slightly towards the heel.
Cool.
And
Okay.
again, all that's there to do is just today to help you
Yeah.
you rotate the face a little
Okay.
bit.
We didn't go. Ooh, actually.
Yeah, good shot
Again,
there,
it
buddy.
wasn't great,
Yeah.
but if we're looking at what we said before this and that, I'm working on my miss hits. If that's a 290-yard miss hit, that's dead straight. That was good. That was
And
better.
that when we spoke at the start and we looked at those, the club in the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
What we've seen there is you started to get a little bit better with shaft combination. We started to see a slightly further left orientation.
Yeah.
Then what we're seeing with, certainly for today, something adjustable, which is beautiful about the new
Yeah.
drivers. We've shut the face a smidge, and what we're seeing is we pulled the weight towards the heel so you can rotate the face. We're actually starting to see much better in terms of total driving. So it's only as long as the longest one.
Yeah.
But if you look at it in terms of your left to right bias, if I just show you,
Yeah.
you see the progression? Starting
Yeah.
to see. So the first one was yours here.
Yeah.
Just coming down the right hand side. Starts to straighten up a little bit. Average gets a little bit longer. Spin drops a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once we've actually gone to the plus, ball speed again is really, really similar. That hasn't really changed that much. But the lovely thing is, if you look, in terms of your side angles, you see what we're starting it a little bit more to the left.
Yeah.
You can see the finish on the line there.
Yeah.
Which again is giving us much, much more fairways hit.
Yeah.
So it is a slightly lower trajectory, generally because of the spin rate.
Yeah, that spins so much better now as well.
So what we'll do in a second, so as I say, this Cat 5 is really good for you. I'm actually going to put you in this head. I want you to try the 60 grammer just to
Okay.
see if we can get
Yeah.
some additional launch.
Okay. There you go. That felt better as well. I think that's
That's pure. That looked like a really smooth golf swing.
yeah. That's what I think I need to start, and that's 169, isn't it?
That's 169. Definitely doing its job in terms of stability then.
Oh, absolutely. Compare that to the start when we had 4,000
Yeah.
spinning all over
Yeah,
the place.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is looking a lot more consistent. See, that was a miss it actually, but
You know what though? Your little left miss,
it's not left going left.
it's not horrendous.
No, it's okay.
If you look at it
That's
on the,
170.
So again, we've dropped the weight, and again we're starting to see gains in terms of ball speed.
Yeah.
Again, I mentioned those immeasurable factors, and sometimes you find you get a little bit of weight out of the shaft, and it changes things in terms of the ball flight.
Yeah.
That it shouldn't necessarily do that, but
Yeah.
immediately going a little bit lighter. That's the first time we've broken the 170 ball speed
Yeah.
barrier, which again is super important.
Yeah.
The lovely thing is you've got pretty much a clear second shot.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah,
great.
exactly.
So again, it's one of those times where you might look at the 70 gram and look at the 60 gram,
Yeah.
and you need slightly different head parameters to optimize that.
Yeah.
So it's always that factor, getting ball speed into the head through the shaft,
Yeah.
and then
Making it consistent and what I'm making it.
optimizing launch and spin and dispersion with head.
It's gone right, but I hit it well.
I think we'll probably end up in that 70 gram shaft just because you're still pretty much on the fairway, but
Yeah.
the interesting thing is your furthest left and furthest right
Yeah.
are getting wider
Yeah.
than they did with a 70 grammer.
Yeah.
That sounded
I
fantastic.
hit it really well, yeah.
So yeah, 171 ball speed, 9.5 launch, spin at 2000, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've got square club face on that one.
Yeah.
So it literally was the straightest shot and the longest shot. So it's a smidge down the left. So I'm just going to go back to the 70 gram in that head.
Sure.
So I just feel like the extra stability of that 70 gram is just tightening up your dispersion a little bit.
Okay.
That, without doubt,
Yeah, that was good.
is the one.
Yeah, that was really good.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, see that launch of that one as well, so much better.
So you're getting more, the ball speed 167 has dropped off a touch.
Yeah.
But again, 9 launch, 2.4 spin, and in terms of side spin, it's only 183 revs.
Yeah.
So it's almost, to the naked eye outside, dead straight golf shot. See, that's the miss I want you to have.
Yeah, that's fine. The ball fell off. I need to make the tee better. But that was okay. That I saved it at the end a little bit, felt it, but I think I hit it well.
So what we're definitely seeing is lower spin rate, definitely a bit more control and a better miss, which I love. So if let me just throw that stat up again. So from my perspective, you gained with the 60 grammer, but it went.
You
started to miss fairways. With the 70 grammer, you definitely got more control. And again, all I would say is the last shot you hit was the one that's important to me because it came out and it was cutting a bit.
Yeah.
But it's cutting off the centre line, and worst case, it's in the semi. Yeah. You're gonna have, unless you're at the tightest golf course in history, you're gonna have a clear second shot, and that's kind of what it's about. So you see how this is very much optimising ball flight in terms of your shape.
Yeah.
So again, with your own driver, what we've seen was a little bit too much of a wipey face, so it was coming out with a bit too much spin. So the miss hit, although it was pretty safe, it's killing your distance.
Yeah.
Now the lovely thing is, we've obviously changed face a little bit, which again is helping start direction, but by getting a shaft that's a little bit more stable for you and giving you a little bit more head feel, your miss hit isn't going as far right or left, which is great. So in terms of ball speed, it's interesting because we've got 166 ball speed, but with your own driver, the spin rate was a bit higher. What we're definitely starting to see is a total driving stat that's miles better because it's obviously longer, but significantly straighter as well, which is really good. So the last shot to me was really important because it did cut away a bit, but it's a very manageable one. Not a lot of movement.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good. That is delightful.
So what I find funny about that, I guess, very similar to the last one I hit. If we'll see we'll see what the data says. I don't think that was high and toey.
Was it?
But if we compare that to what we did in the initial start, high and toey would have been wide, everything like that.
Yeah. So that you can see the yellow in its rawest form. You can see the yellow dot up there.
Yeah.
It's long. Ball speed was down because you mishit it.
Yeah.
But
what was it? 308.
We're definitely starting to see with that combination of a
Yeah.
bit of better head feel.
Yeah.
Because your miss hit isn't curving anywhere near as much.
Yeah.
And remember, that's the same driver head as the one we started with.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really cool to see that there because the stark difference I have even just in feel and the way I'm.
And the thing is, if you look at it in its rawest form, you think, right, okay, with my other shaft, I was getting more ball speed, but significantly less distance. So we've just essentially given you something that's far more optimised at a slightly slower speed. But it means you're going to be, what was that, 308? Okay, that's pretty long.
Yeah.
But the lovely thing is, you're on the fairway.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is, suddenly that's a really potent weapon.
Yeah. If you can find me something that, I was saying before, that could go similar distance to what I had before, but I'm consistent the whole time in dispersion, I said happy days, that's it. I don't, it depends person to person, but for me, I was saying I could have even taken a few yards off it if it could have meant that I'm just more consistent every single time.
That's the thing, I think that this shaft's quite a unique one.
Yeah.
It's really strong and really stable, but it's got a bit of feel.
Yeah.
And I think that really influences how people affect the club head.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, again, that I can't see, but I can see the data after that point.
Yeah.
So again, it's really interesting, but I like that combination.
Yeah.
So essentially, from where we started, the difference, we've gone to the 70 gram TD Cat 5.
Yeah.
And all we've done with your club head is shut it half a degree.
Yeah.
So again, I think that's good. Really good.
No, really good. I'm impressed by that, and it'll be good to see what it's actually like out on the course as well, because I think he's harder than on the course. I think I'll go even further than actually when we're out on the fairway, hopefully. Since taking this new bomber to the course, I've been even more surprised than I thought I was going to be with the accuracy of this club. It's going pretty much the same distance as previous drivers that I've hit, but I don't really hit a bad shot with it now. A bad shot, for me, is now just slightly off the fairway in the rough, whereas before, the dispersion was left and right by about 80 yards. I thoroughly recommend you guys to check out these KBS TD metal wood shafts, because though they may not be getting talked about that much, over the next few months and years, I think they'll be in a lot more people's bags, from consumers and tour players alike. I'll see you guys at the next video.